I want to share with you guys everything that I took away from round 3 of the FIDE Candidates tournament. Today was an awesome, incredible day for chess, and I'm going to kick things off with the Fabiano versus Wei Yi game because this game was absolutely incredible, guys. And once again, Fabiano puts on an absolute masterclass on how to win a chess game. Fabiano opens up with the move knight f3. Wei Yi responds with the move knight f6. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know more opening theory than these guys, so I'm just going to get through the first opening moves and get to the move that I thought to myself, wow, that's interesting, okay? So Wei Yi plays the move knight f6, Fabi plays the move c4, just making their development, their opening moves here. He cuts, and then in this position, Fabiano plays the move bishop to g2, Wei Yi plays the move bishop to g7. Now, in this position, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the stream and I'm like, you know what? I already know Fabi. He's going to get castle, right? That's the most fundamentally sound thing that Fabi can do. And Fabiano has shown us all tournament long just how strategically sound he is at the game of chess. But instead, Fabiano makes the move queen to a4. Check. Now, when I seen that, I was like, okay, he's fighting for something in this game. Wei Yi responds with the move knight to c6. Fabiano plays the move knight to g4, and I'm like, okay, this is getting really interesting because, you know, Fabi is usually, like in round 1, he showed us how strategically sound he is. He's the type to get castle and then go for his attack. But in this game, he said, you know what, no, I'm not going to castle first. No, I'm not going to get developed first. I'm going to go for it right away. So Fabiano plays the move knight to g5. In this position, I'm like, is Wei Yi going to capture his knight? But of course he didn't because you don't want to bring another pawn to the center of the board. So Wei Yi retreated his knight to the square b6. And in this position, I'm like, wait, I literally sent out a post in this position like, is Fabi going to win material at an opening? Fabi took a second, he thought about it, and he absolutely decided to go for the material, guys. Bishop captures c6, pawn captures back, and then Fabiano took the pawn with check. Now Fabi's up a full pawn out of the opening, and he does not stop there. Wei Yi makes the move bishop to d6, and then Fabiano picks up another pawn, and then Wei Yi makes the move h6, kicking the knight out of there. The knight has to retreat back to f3, which is a better square for the knight to be on, and then Wei Yi plays the move rook to c8, attacking white's queen. And then white plays the move queen to a5. Now, Fabi is still moving his queen around in the center of the board. I am just intrigued in this game because, like, he, you know, like both rounds, both yesterday and day 1, we've seen him get castle early. We've seen him complete his development and then go for the attack. But in this game, he said no. He went for the attack straight out the opening. As you guys can see, his lack of development and his king is not safe yet, right? So that's going to be the counterplay that Wei Yi has, but Wei Yi failed to capitalize on it. After queen to a5, Wei Yi plays the move bishop to h3. At this point, white is up 2 pawns. So the point of bishop to h3 is to cut off white's ability to castle because that's some of the only counterplay that Wei Yi has. He has to play to the fact that he's down 2 pawns. He has to make sense of this thing because he's down 2 pawns. So you can't let him get castled and get developed because you are down 2 pawns. And then at that point, if you let him castle and you let him develop all his pieces down 2 pawns, then at that point you're just lost. So a move like bishop to h3 makes complete sense. And then Fabiano plays the move queen to b5, check, knight to d7. And then Fabiano will go on to make 2 absolutely beautiful moves. And I think moves like this is what really sets him apart in this tournament. He's literally playing the most computer accurate moves, almost every single move. So he plays this beautiful move, rook to g1. He's basically saying, yeah, my king can't castle, but I'm not going to keep my rook on this light square diagonal, open up my rook to all kind of tactics, and leave my rook hanging on h1. So he puts his rook on g1. And then black plays the move castles. Now, as you can see, the computer gives this a question mark, but that is what Wei Yi played. And then Fabiano makes this beautiful move. Again, the accuracy that he's playing with is just insane. It's incredible. It's hard for me to think, like, who's going to beat this guy when he's playing such beautiful chess. I don't think he makes one error this entire game. Not that it was a long game, but I'm just saying the amount of pressure Wei Yi was under. I was watching this stream. This is the first time this tournament I was watching this stream, and I'm like, Wei Yi isn't completely lost yet, but it is very, very difficult for him to find his counterplay. I literally sent out a post. I said, Wei Yi isn't lost yet, but this is a tough situation. This is a tough position to fight from, and he failed because after g4 in this position, Wei Yi bishop is under attack, right? Because if he get a move like rook to g3, you're going to lose the bishop. So I sat there and I waited and I waited. I looked at the position. And even myself, I considered rook. I called out rook to c5 for Wei Yi. I say he should play rook to c5, rook to c5. Of course, the computer says that knight to f6 was the better move, but even me, I was saying rook to c5. So when I seen him play it and it was actually the wrong move, I sent out another post. I said I actually like rook to c5. It's not immediately losing. It's just not the most accurate move. I actually like rook to c5 if it was against any other player, but against Fabi, it's just not good enough because Fabi is going to find the #1 computer move every single time, and that's exactly what he goes on to do. Rook to c5 doesn't lose the game, but knight f6 was just a bit more accurate. Fabi drops his queen back to b3, and then Wei Yi. This is an intense and immense amount of pressure to be under. This position is just so much pressure to be under because, like I said in my post, Wei Yi is not completely losing this game. Fabiano has two pawns. Fabiano's a +2 in material, but Wei Yi has his king castle, and Wei Yi has better development than Fabi. So if Wei Yi could play to those counters that he has, then he could get a pretty decent game. That's why the eval bar is still fairly even, right? And I'm looking at the position like, oh, this is tough for him. He's not completely lost, but he has to play accurate, and he has to play to his counter. But he failed to do that because he blunders with the move knight to e5, which is completely understandable for a person at my level because it's a tough position to play from. You got to be extremely accurate, and you got to take advantage of his lack of development. All of his pieces are blocked in here. This bishop can't get out. You got to take advantage of that. You got to take advantage of where he's hanging at. You got to take advantage of his unsafe king, right? Got to take advantage of that. But he failed to because he blunders with knight e5, and of course Fabiano finds the best move on the board, as we all know he would. Knight captures, rook captures, knight to d1, and black is forced to resign because there is nothing you could do about it. You are going to lose this bishop one way or another. If you take here, then white would just simply take with the rook. But Wei Yi did not waste any time in this position here. He simply, after knight to d1, he simply resigned. And he's getting ready for round 4 at this moment. So, you know, I don't have enough analysis about Wei Yi. For so far, Fabi is just my favorite. I love watching him play. You know, I love everything that he did out the opening. I love how he went for the pawn and he won this pawn on c6 here with the queen takes. I love it. And I love how he picked up another pawn. I love how he didn't just out the opening play that castle move. Instead, he went for the attack with queen to g4, knight g5. He played a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more dynamic. He didn't get his position completely solid before going for the attack. He just went for the attack first, and he played it very much accurately, and it was just a little bit too much pressure because Wei Yi blundered with knight e5. So really fun game to watch. Wei Yi is currently 1 out of 3, and Fabiano is 2.5 out of 3. So we will continue to see what Wei Yi does in this tournament, and I am rooting for Fabi because I just love his chess. I think he's playing really good chess, guys. Without further ado, let's move on to the next game that we're going to discuss today, which is my boy Sindarov versus Pragg. That was a very fun game to watch as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an absolutely beautiful game. This was an absolute showdown. My boy Sindarov with the black pieces and Pragg with the white pieces. I was literally locked in with this game from start to finish because it was so interesting, guys. Black plays the Queen's Gambit Decline, and white plays a Queen's Gambit. So it was a very easy game to follow. I'm familiar with the Queen's Gambit. I'm familiar with the Queen's Gambit Decline. So it was really fun to watch both grandmasters play it. But there's a move in this game where Sindarov sacrifices his knight for 2 pawns, and when he did that, he was basically communicating to his opponent that he's going fully for the attack. He's going fully to get white's king unsafe and just put a full attack on the white pieces, and Pragg was not able to defend. Without further ado, guys, let's take a look at the game. I'm just going to zip through their opening moves. I'm not going to pretend to know more about these opening than these players. I'm just sharing with you guys everything that I take away from each round from my perspective. But as you can see, this is the Queen's Gambit versus the Queen's Gambit Declined here. Pragg develops his knights, and they're just playing all their developing moves. I'm sure they're well into prep at this point. He cuts. The dark square bishop is now on c5. He plays the move a3. I thought that was, I didn't know his ideas with that. A bit of a wasted move, but Pragg, obviously, like I said, he's very well prepped, and he's playing what he wants to play. So he develops his knight to c6. The queen comes to c2. All pretty much normal developing moves in these openings. And then Sindarov make this move d4. Pragg responds with take. I thought that was a beautiful move. And I was thinking maybe he would castle long because, you know, that rook would get this open file here. Or maybe he would just play rook to d1 right away to get this open file. Or the best option was actually to take this knight, because after queen takes, then he gets to play the move knight to e4, looking at black's queen and black's good bishop. He did cut the knight, and then black queen responded with cutting the bishop. And then he did play knight e4, and then black played the move queen to f5. Now, obviously, you can't take the good bishop because your queen is hanging. So then Pragg plays the move b4. And in this position, Sindarov says, I'm not backing up. I'm not running backwards. We're not moving backwards. So he sacks the knight. He gives Pragg the knight for 2 pawns here with check. Okay, so he gave him material for the attack, and it turned out to be a very, very good decision by him because Pragg has a hard time defending this position because after check, now he loses castling rights, so this is compensation enough. You cannot get your king safe, so that's a more than enough compensation for me to give you a +1 in material if now I get to chase your king around and make you very extremely uncomfortable. So now black plays the move pawn takes, okay? At this point, the material is even. You got a knight. I got 3 pawns now, but then white plays this move bishop to d4, and then black plays the move queen to g6. So far, everything is just so great, so interesting, and of course, Pragg is going to get his material back, right? He has to have a reason for his king being unsafe like this, right? He needs the material to justify his king being unsafe, or else you just have an unsafe king for no reason. So he took his material back. Now again, Pragg has a pawn, but black has a safe king, and black is going to be able to use the lack of king safety on white's end to win this game. So f captures e3, and then Pragg makes the beautiful move f4. Where you going with that knight? Pragg backs his knight up, and as you guys can see, Sindarov is just going to put a full-out attack on the white pieces. So let's move forward. Bishop to c5. Not the best move in the position, but that's what he played. At the end of the day, it is a weak pawn, so that's what he went after. And Pragg just misplays this. He plays the move queen to c3, just not the best move at all in the position. And then Sindarov plays this beautiful move e5. What you gonna do about it? You gotta move one of these minor pieces somewhere, because if not, he's coming straight through the center of the board with the move e4. White plays the move bishop to c2. He pushes e4. Where you going with that knight? Pragg retreats his knight, and now it was just, at this point watching this game, I said, yeah, Sindarov got Pragg on the run, and ain't nothing Pragg could do about it, because Sindarov is coming, and he ain't going to stop. So then Sindarov plays the move rook to d8, getting his rook on this beautiful open file, guys, and that's really the way that this game goes. He traded that knight for 2 pawns. Pragg has a pawn. Everything in this game is just to show you how to play when you gambit a piece. When you gambit material, this game teaches us how to play when you gambit material, which is you get material, I get the attack, or some people call it the initiative, whatever you want to call it. He gave him some material, and now black has a full-on attack against white king, and he goes on to win this game. As you can see, now the bishop is attacking the queen, and just slowly but surely, black is getting better and better in this position, and these are the moves that they make. And yes, Sindarov does make some mistakes, but honestly, the bottom line of this game is give you material for the attack, and I'm going to use the attack to win this game. And with c5, Pragg actually made a huge mistake, but Sindarov misses it, so Sindarov takes the pawn, and then the queen moves forward, and then Sindarov makes the beautiful move king to h8, which was the best move in the position. He moves his queen forward, and at this point, Sindarov makes the absolutely beautiful move. He sacrifices his rook, check. The king has to move, and you already know now, he picks up more material. Ultimately, now he's the guy up a +1, but now he's going to cut the rook, and white is just completely lost. But the bottom line of this game, guys, again, my whole point of going over the candidates and tuning in like this is I just want to learn as much as possible. And everything about this game just teaches us how to play when we gambit material. Sindarov went for the win after he sacked that knight. Like, Pragg was tripping. Like I said, when he played a3, I'm like, wow, why did he play that? Then he played the move b4, and I'm like, whoa, he's playing a bit weird, a bit risky here, and Sindarov was not moving backwards. Want to know how to play with gambits or gambiting the piece? This is a great game to learn from, because that's exactly what Sindarov did here with the move knight captures b4, pawn takes, bishop takes, and I was very, very impressed with this game by Sindarov. He did a great job giving his opponent material for the attack, and he won this game by flying colors. We're going to end things here by taking a look at the game between Anish Giri, or in other words, Drawnish Giri, who absolutely lived up to his name today, versus Hikaru Nakamura. Check it out, guys. There were winning opportunities for Anish Giri, okay, guys? And he just went for the draw. I thought to myself, I immediately sent out a post. I said, did he not know he was winning the game? Or is he living true to the name that the internet gave him? Drawnish Giri. Because as you guys are going to see in this game, there were winning chances for him. And then he just goes on to draw the game. I got to say, guys, I am not impressed with Hikaru's chess at all. When I say Hikaru has no chance of winning this tournament, that's not a personal shot at Hikaru, or he was never at one point winning or outplaying Anish Giri. In fact, he was actually beating Hikaru, and he decided to go for the draw. I don't know if it's just because he lived up to his name this game, or if he was actually in time pressure. That's the excuse that the internet is giving him. But anyway, Hikaru starts out with the move c4, and they're into their development here. You know, I'm not going to pretend to know opening theory better than these guys at all. Hikaru gets castled. That was a move I was happy to see him play. Very, very fundamental move after queen to d7. And then Anish Giri plays this move, bishop cuts, and then Anish Giri plays this move, knight to d4. Good move. White then plays the move g3. I thought to myself, why? Why g3? Let's see, does the computer recommend that move at all? No. I'm just like, why g3? Just why? It's just a wasted move. And as you can see with G3, black gets the advantage. And this is what I mean by Hikaru is not outplaying his opponents. He's really not. In fact, he's being outplayed and he's getting draws. Like this game was a draw, a lucky draw, because Anish had winning opportunities this game. Round one, we seen what Fabiano did to him. Fabi outplayed him all that entire game. Yes, Fabi blundered with F6, but opening to middle game, Fabi was outplaying Hikaru the whole entire time. Anish Giri plays the move bishop to c5, rook to c8. He drops the bishop back. He drops his bishop back, get castle, knight to a5, good move, rook to d8. Now Hikaru plays the move a3, and I'm just going to get to the point where I thought the game was quite interesting, and Anish had some winning opportunities. Queen came there, the knight came to d4, so of course white has to cut. The queen cuts, and it was this position here where I thought to myself, you know what? Black has some serious winning opportunities because strategically, black is just better. But Anish did not go for it. This was the time for him to go for it. Black plays the move b4. As you guys can see, the computer is giving black the slight edge in these positions. And Anish plays the move knight to b8. He takes. Queen comes over. He plays the move knight to d6. He backs his rook up. He moves his rook over to e8. He gets behind this pawn. The pawn pushes forward. Rook there. Queen there. He pushes the queen forward, and in this position, the computer recommends king to f8. I thought c4 was a really great move, which is the move that Anish played, and then Hikaru plays this move queen to b4, guys. And black just has a slight edge here, a slight edge. I thought for sure that maybe Anish Giri would push, but he just didn't. The rook comes to c7. White plays the move a4. He cuts. He plays the move queen to e7. The rook comes forward. The rook comes to c8. Bishop comes there. He takes. And in this position, I said, okay, this is going to be drawn. When Anish Giri allowed Hikaru to basically trick him out the center of the board, you know, I just thought, yeah, it's over. This is going to be a drawn game. And slowly but surely, it was just drawn. It just went on to be a draw. So far, I don't have Esapinko winning. I don't have Blue Bomb winning. I already said Hikaru's not winning. And after this game, Anish's ability to just go for a draw, like it doesn't matter. I'm not sure if playing for a win is actually what he wants. And if he doesn't want to win, he's just not going to have enough to win this tournament. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching this video with me. These are all my recaps from my perspective as a growing chess player trying to get better at the game. This is everything that I take away each round. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.